Dramily.com, unlimited drama series.
I always figured rock bottom looked like a bar brawl or a jail cell. Turns out, it's listening to your wife laugh in court as she tells the judge, "You'll never see your kids again." And then moving into your dead mother's basement in a town so cold the rats wear sweaters. My name is Evan Mitchell, and 6 months ago I had everything. A successful restaurant in coastal California, a beautiful wife named Valerie, and a 16-year-old daughter Marina who used to think I hung the moon. Now I'm scraping ice off the windows of a 1970s ranch house in Millbrook, Ohio, wondering where the hell it all went wrong. Yeah, the basement smells like mothballs and regret. I'm boxing up Mom's old Christmas decorations when I notice something odd about the furnace. There's a gap behind it, just wide enough for a small safe. The combination lock stares at me like a challenge. My birthday. Of course it's my birthday. Mom always said I was predictable. Inside, there's a letter in her careful handwriting. "Evan, if you're reading this, they've finally found you. Some secrets are worth keeping, others are worth using. The list is everything you need. Love, Mom." Below the letter is a manila folder, thick with documents, names, addresses, photographs, debts owed, and secrets kept by half the town, including some very interesting information about Tessa Hoffman, Valerie's best friend since college. I lean back against the cold concrete wall and laugh until my sides hurt. Maybe rock bottom isn't so bad after all. The flashback hits me like a punch to the gut. 3 weeks ago, family court in San Diego. Valerie sitting next to her lawyer, wearing that blue dress I bought her for our anniversary. Her new boyfriend Travis, lounging in the gallery like he owns the place, all muscles and smug grins. "Your Honor," Valerie's lawyer had said, "Mr. Mitchell has shown a pattern of instability. His restaurant failed due to poor management and drinking problems. He's unemployed, living in his deceased mother's house, and frankly poses a risk to the children's well-being." The judge barely looked at me. "Custody awarded to Mrs. Mitchell. Visitation suspended pending psychological evaluation." Valerie leaned over as I gathered my papers. "You'll never see Marina again," she whispered, then actually laughed, like it was the funniest joke she'd ever heard. Travis high-fived her in the hallway. I watched them through the courthouse windows, celebrating in the parking lot next to his pristine BMW. That's when I made my first mistake, or my first smart move, depending on how you look at it. I keyed that car from bumper to bumper. Deep, satisfying scratches that spelled out "cheater" across the driver's side door. Security came running as I disappeared into the crowd, but the damage was done. That night, Valerie posted a photo on Facebook. Her, Travis, and Marina celebrating in what used to be my house. She tagged me in it, making sure I'd see the comments pouring in from friends and neighbors. "So glad you're finally happy, and about time you dumped that loser." And my personal favorite, "Travis is such an upgrade." I closed the laptop and opened a bottle of bourbon. "Welcome to Ohio, Evan. Population, you and your mistakes." Rick's Tavern sits on Main Street like a monument to better times. The neon sign flickers between open and ope, which pretty much sums up the whole town. Rick Kowalski bought the place after 20 years as a Cleveland cop, and he's got the stories to prove it. "So let me get this straight," Rick says, polishing a glass that's seen better decades. "Your wife cheated with her personal trainer, took your house, your kid, and your dignity. And now you're living in your mom's basement. That about covers it." I drain my beer and signal for another. "Oh, and she's telling everyone I'm an alcoholic with anger management issues." "Are you? Working on it." Rick laughs, a sound like gravel in a cement mixer. "You know what your problem is, Evan. You're playing defense. In my experience, the only way to win is to go on the attack." The bar's regulars nod their agreement. There's Tom Bradley, who lost his farm to his brother-in-law's gambling debts. Sarah Chen, whose husband left her for his secretary and stuck her with the medical bills from his heart surgery. And Mrs. Haynes from across the street, who sees everything and forgets nothing. "That Tessa Hoffman," Mrs. Haynes says, stirring her whiskey sour with one arthritic finger. "She's been trouble since high school, always sticking her nose where it don't belong. You know Tessa?" "Honey, I know everybody. Her daddy owed my late husband $5,000 when he died. Never paid it back. And that girl's got secrets that would make your hair curl." I lean forward. "What kind of secrets?" Mrs. Haynes glances around the bar, then motions me closer. "The kind that end careers and ruin marriages. You interested in evening the score?" That's when I tell them about Mom's safe, about the folder full of documents and photographs, about Tessa's name appearing on a list titled "Insurance Policies." Rick sets down his glass. Your mom was a smart woman, Evan. She understood that information is power. So what do I do with it? You learn to play chess instead of checkers. The next morning, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Saw the news about your divorce. So sorry. Maybe we can catch up soon? Tessa, reaching out like we're old friends, like she didn't help orchestrate the destruction of my marriage. I stare at the message for a long time before typing back. Would love to catch up. I have so much to tell you. Two can play this game. I spend the Mondays and Wednesdays at Elite Fitness downtown, Tuesdays and Thursdays at the country club, Fridays at the community center, training seniors. Weekends are for his special clients, which apparently includes my wife. The photos make my stomach turn. Valerie in yoga pants and sports bras, Travis spotting her on the bench press, his hands lingering on her waist. Comments from her friends. Get it, girl, and personal training never looked so good. Marina's TikTok account is worse. Video after video about her glow up after getting rid of toxic family members. She's got thousands of followers eating up her sob story about the deadbeat dad who abandoned them for alcohol and self-pity. My mom is finally happy, she says in one video, the camera panning to show Travis making pancakes in my kitchen. Some people just drag you down, you know? Sometimes you have to cut out the cancer. Cancer. My own daughter called me cancer. I close the laptop and walk to Mom's bedroom, where her mirror still reflects everything wrong with my life. Unshaven, 20 pounds heavier than I was a year ago, eyes like broken windows. Valerie was right about one thing. I am a mess. But messes can be cleaned up. Elite Fitness smells like sweat and false promises. I pay for a month-to-month membership under my middle name, James, and spend a week observing Travis in his natural habitat. The guy's routine is clockwork. Protein shake at 6 a.m., clients from 7 to 11, lunch break at the smoothie bar, afternoon sessions until 6. He's also a creature of habit. Same locker, same pre-workout ritual, same post-session protein powder mixed with almond milk and a banana. The powder comes from a massive container he keeps in his locker. Unlocked because who would mess with supplements, right? I wait until Tuesday morning. Travis is in the shower after his session with Mrs. Henderson, the mayor's wife who's clearly paying for more than fitness advice. I slip into the locker room and make my move. The laxative powder I bought at 3 different pharmacies mixes perfectly with his protein supplement. Not enough to hurt him, just enough to make his afternoon very, very uncomfortable. 2 hours later, I'm on the elliptical when Travis starts his session with the high school volleyball team. 15 teenage girls depending on him to push them through an hour of intensive training. The timing couldn't be more perfect. It starts with a gurgle. Travis pauses mid-sentence, hand on his stomach. Then comes the sweat, beading on his forehead as he tries to maintain his composure. Coach Morrison? One of the girls asks. You okay? Fine. Let's do some stretching. But stretching becomes impossible when your intestines are staging a rebellion. Travis makes it exactly 12 minutes before sprinting toward the bathroom, leaving 15 confused teenagers and a gym full of witnesses. The sounds echoing from the men's room are legendary. I finish my workout and head home, whistling. By evening, the story's all over social media. Personal trainer has explosive workout. Someone filmed Travis's desperate sprint to the bathroom. The video has 50,000 views and counting. My phone rings. Valerie's number. Evan, did you have something to do with what happened to Travis today? I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm in Ohio, remember? You made sure of that. This isn't over. No, I say, looking at Mom's folder spread across the kitchen table. It's just getting started. The next phase requires more finesse. I create an anonymous email account and send a carefully worded message to the HR department at Valerie's marketing firm. Nothing actionable, just concerns about an employee's inappropriate relationship with her fitness instructor and how it might reflect on the company's family values. Corporate America loves family values almost as much as they hate liability. Within a week, Valerie's on administrative leave pending an investigation into her conduct unbecoming. She calls me screaming, "You son of a bitch, you cost me my job. I'm sorry to hear you're having employment troubles. Maybe you should focus on your core competencies. I hear personal training is a growth industry." The silence on the other end is beautiful. You're pathetic, Evan. A bitter, pathetic man who can't handle his wife moving on. You're right. I am bitter, but I'm learning to channel it constructively. That night, I get my first anonymous text. I know what you did. You're not half as clever as you think. Watch your back. I stare at the message for a long time. Then I open Mom's folder and find Tessa Hoffman's file. 3 DUI arrests, all mysteriously dismissed. A fake diploma from a college that doesn't exist. And a series of photographs that would end her marriage and her career if they ever saw daylight. Game on, Tessa. Game on. Mrs. Haynes makes the best coffee in Ohio and the second best gossip. I'm sitting in her kitchen, surrounded by ceramic roosters and the smell of cinnamon, when she drops the bombshell. That Tessa girl called me yesterday, she says, refilling my cup. Wanted to know all about you. How long you've been in town, who you've been talking to, what kind of mood you're in. What did you tell her? That you're a nice young man who's been dealt a rough hand. But here's the thing, honey. She knew things about your situation that I never told her. Things about your restaurant, your finances, your drinking. I set down my cup. What kind of things? The kind of things only someone on the inside would know. Someone who's been planning this for a long time. The pieces start falling into place. Tessa introduced Valerie to Travis. Tessa suggested the gym membership. Tessa was always there, whispering in my wife's ear about how she deserved better, how I was holding her back, how life was too short to waste on a man with no ambition. I drive to Rick's Tavern with my head spinning. The afternoon crowd is thin. Just Tom Bradley nursing a beer and watching ESPN with the sound off. You look like you've seen a ghost, Rick says. Worse, I've seen the truth. I tell him about Mrs. Haynes, about Tessa's phone call, about the growing certainty that my wife's best friend orchestrated the whole thing. Rick listens without interruption, occasionally nodding like a cop taking a statement. So what's her angle? He asks, when I finish. Revenge. Has to be. But for what? The answer comes to me that night, sitting in Mom's basement with a bottle of bourbon and a box of old photographs. There's Tessa, 22 years old, and fresh out of college, standing behind the hostess station at Mitchell's Bistro. My first restaurant, the one I built from nothing and lost to a grease fire and insufficient insurance. I fired her after 3 months. She was stealing from the register, hitting on married customers, showing up late and leaving early. I caught her in the walk-in cooler with the sous chef during the dinner rush, and that was the final straw. You're making a mistake, she'd said, cleaning out her locker. I'm good at holding grudges, Evan. Really good. 15 years. She waited 15 years to destroy my life. My phone buzzes. Another anonymous text. Having fun playing detective? Too bad you're not very good at it. Nid. This time I'm ready. I text back. Hi, Tessa. We should talk. Nid. The response comes immediately. Midnight. Riverside Park. Come alone. Nid. I show the text to Rick, who shakes his head. This is a bad idea, Evan. You should call the police and tell them what? That my ex-employee is sending me mean texts? They'll laugh me out of the station. Then at least take backup. Tom and I can... No. This is personal. Riverside Park at midnight looks like a Stephen King novel. Bare trees reaching toward a moonless sky. The Millbrook River running black and silent through the middle. I find Tessa sitting on a bench near the playground, smoking a cigarette like she doesn't have a care in the world. Hello, Evan. You look terrible. You look exactly the same. Still a manipulative bitch with too much time on her hands. Nid. She laughs, a sound like breaking glass. I've missed our little chats. Remember how you used to lecture me about responsibility and work ethic? Tessa, you need to apply yourself. Tessa, you're wasting your potential. God, you were insufferable. So this is all about a job you lost 15 years ago? This is about respect, about a small man with a small mind who thought he could judge me. Do you have any idea what you cost me? Nid, enlighten me. She takes a long drag from her cigarette. That sous chef you caught me with. His name was David. We were engaged. He broke it off after you fired me. Said he couldn't be with someone so unprofessional. I loved him, Evan. Really loved him. So you decided to destroy my marriage? I decided to show you what loss feels like. How it feels when someone you trust turns against you. When everything you've built comes crashing down because of someone else's choices. The confession should make me angry. Instead, I feel something close to admiration. Tessa played a 15-year game and won every hand. Very impressive, I say. But you made one mistake. What's that? I pull out my phone and stop the recording app. You just confessed to conspiracy.
You wrote him love poems. In 10 years, you never wrote me a word.
It was emotional.
How is he telling in another?
Watch more on Grammarly.com.
Alienation of affection and intentional infliction of emotional distress. That's a civil lawsuit worth at least 7 figures. For the first time, Tessa looks worried. You're bluffing. Am I? My lawyer will be very interested in this conversation. So will Travis, when he finds out you've been using him as a pawn. And Valerie, when she discovers her best friend has been manipulating her for over a decade. Tessa stands up, flicking her cigarette into the river. You always were smarter than you looked. But you're forgetting something important. What's that? I know where you live. She walks away, heels clicking on the asphalt like a countdown timer. I sit on the bench for another hour, planning my next move. The game just got a lot more dangerous. But I'm not the same man who lost everything in a California courtroom. I'm something new, something harder, something that knows how to fight back. Time to go on the offensive. The annual Millbrook Charity Gala is the social event of the year, where the town's elite gather to congratulate themselves on their generosity while drinking overpriced wine. This year's cause is childhood literacy, which makes it perfect for what I have planned. Valerie flew in specifically for the event. She's staying at the Millbrook Inn, posting Instagram stories about supporting important causes and giving back to the community. Travis is with her, playing the devoted boyfriend for her social media audience. What they don't know is that I've spent 2 weeks preparing for this night. The gala is held at the Riverside Country Club, the same place where Travis trains his wealthy clients. I arrive early, dressed in the one good suit I still own, and make my way to the audio-visual booth. The student volunteer running the equipment is more interested in her phone than security. Excuse me, I say. I'm with the Literacy Foundation. We have a last-minute video presentation to add to tonight's program. She barely looks up. Whatever. The laptop's right there. I upload my files and test the system. Everything works perfectly. The projector displays crisp, high-definition images on the massive screen behind the podium. Tonight, everyone's going to get an education. The ballroom fills with Millbrook's finest. Mayor Henderson and his wife, the bank president, local business owners and their spouses, all dressed to impress and ready to open their wallets for a good cause. Valerie makes her entrance like she's walking the red carpet. She's wearing a black cocktail dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent, her arm linked through Travis's like they're Hollywood royalty. The crowd parts for them, offering congratulations and air kisses. I watch from the back of the room as she works the crowd, playing the role of the successful divorcee who's finally found happiness. Several people approach her with sympathetic looks, offering condolences about her difficult marriage and praising her courage for starting over. Travis plays his part perfectly, the supportive boyfriend who helped her discover her worth. He's wearing a tuxedo that makes him look like a game show host, all white teeth and practiced charm. The program begins with the usual speeches about the importance of literacy and the power of education. I wait through the appetizer course, the silent auction preview, and the mayor's welcome address. Finally, it's time for the multimedia presentation about the foundation's work. Ladies and gentlemen, the MC announces, please direct your attention to the screen for a special presentation about the children we're helping tonight. Hohoy, and the lights dim, the projector hums to life. Instead of smiling children reading books, the screen fills with a very different kind of education. It's Travis, shirtless and flexing for the camera, on a website called Muscle Daddies. The tagline reads, Private training sessions for discerning clients. Satisfaction guaranteed. The ballroom goes silent. You could hear a champagne flute drop. The slideshow continues. More photos of Travis in various states of undress, advertising his special services to both men and women. Screenshots of his profile, complete with rates and reviews. A particularly graphic video that leaves nothing to the imagination. Someone screams, "I think it's Mrs. Henderson." Valerie's face goes through several shades of red before settling on purple. She's staring at the screen in horror, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. Travis tries to rush toward the AV booth, but he's blocked by a crowd of horrified socialites. "Turn it off," he shouts. "This is fake. Someone's trying to frame me." Ahoy, but the evidence is overwhelming. Bank statements showing payments from married clients. Text messages arranging private sessions at local hotels. A particularly damning video where Travis discusses his side business with another trainer. The final slide is a screenshot from his tax returns, showing income from personal services that he never reported to the IRS. The lights come up. The ballroom erupts in chaos. Donors flee toward the exits, their checkbooks forgotten. The mayor's wife is fanning herself with a napkin. The bank president is on his phone, probably calling his lawyers. Valerie sits frozen in her chair, staring at the empty screen. Travis has disappeared entirely, probably running for his car. I make my way through the crowd toward her table. She looks up as I approach, her eyes filled with a mixture of rage and humiliation. "You," she whispers. "Hello, Valerie. Enjoying the presentation?" "You sick, pathetic. Careful, we're in public." I sit down in Travis's abandoned chair. Though I suppose public humiliation is something you're getting used to. Around us, the gala continues its death spiral. The Literacy Foundation president is trying to salvage the evening, but it's hopeless. Half the room has already left, and the other half is too busy gossiping to write checks. "How?" Valerie asks. "Travis isn't as smart as he thinks he is. His computer password was his birthday. His email account was even easier. Did you know he's been supplementing his income this way for 3 years? Some of his clients are married to very powerful people. You've destroyed everything. I've revealed the truth. There's a difference." Valerie's phone buzzes constantly with notifications. Social media is already exploding with photos and videos from the gala. #TravisGate is trending locally. Her carefully constructed new life is crumbling in real time. "What do you want?" she asks. "I want you to understand what you took from me. My home, my daughter, my reputation, my future. You didn't just leave me, Valerie. You scorched the earth on your way out. So this is revenge? This is consequences." I stand to leave, then pause. "Oh, and you might want to check your bank account. Travis has been using your credit cards for his business expenses. The IRS is very interested in unreported income, especially when it's linked to prostitution." Her face goes white. "You're lying." "Am I? Check your statements. Those business trips he took, those training seminars, all paid for with your money, all tax-deductible expenses for his escort service." I walk away as she frantically opens her banking app. Behind me, I hear her gasp, then start crying. The parking lot is chaos. Travis's BMW has been vandalized. Apparently, some of the other attendees took exception to his business model. Windows smashed, tires slashed, pervert spray painted across the hood. I find my rental car and drive home, leaving the wreckage behind. Tomorrow, the real fun begins. The next morning brings a parade of consequences. Travis's mugshot appears on the local news, arrested for tax evasion and operating an unlicensed escort service. Valerie's photo runs alongside his, identified as his business partner and financier. My phone rings constantly, reporters wanting comments, lawyers offering services, old friends calling to gawk at the spectacle. I ignore them all and focus on the final phase of my plan. Tessa hasn't called or texted since our confrontation in the park. She's gone to ground, probably hoping the storm will pass. But I'm not done with her yet. The evidence I've compiled over the past month fills 3 thick folders: her fake credentials, her history of embezzlement, her manipulation of Valerie, her role in orchestrating my downfall. It's enough to destroy her career, her marriage, and her reputation. But that's not enough anymore. I want her to feel the same helplessness I felt in that courtroom, the same betrayal I experienced when I discovered the affair. I want her to understand that actions have consequences, even 15 years later. The plan requires perfect timing and a little help from my new friends at Rick's Tavern. Tessa works as a guidance counselor at Millbrook High School. a position she obtained with her fake psychology degree and forged references. She's built a reputation as a caring professional who helps troubled teens navigate their problems. The irony is almost too perfect. I wait until Thursday afternoon, when she's conducting her weekly support group for students dealing with family issues. 15 teenagers who trust her, who believe she has their best interests at heart. The school's PA system is surprisingly easy to hack when you know the right person. Tom Bradley's nephew works in IT and owes his uncle several favors. For $50 and a bottle of whiskey, he gives me remote access to the system. At exactly 2:30 p.m., I interrupt the afternoon announcements with an audio file I've carefully prepared. It's Tessa's voice, recorded during our midnight confrontation in the park, edited to highlight her confession about manipulating Valerie and destroying my marriage. I decided to show you what loss feels like when someone you trust turns against you, when everything you've built comes crashing down because of someone else's choices. The recording plays throughout the school, in every classroom, every hallway, every office. Teachers stop mid-lecture. Students pull out their phones to record it. The principal's voice comes over the intercom, frantically trying to regain control. But the damage is done. Within minutes, the audio is uploaded to TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. #Guidance Counselor Gate joins #Travis Gate in the trending topics. Phase 2 begins immediately. I release Tessa's employment file to the local newspaper, complete with evidence of her fake credentials and history of theft. The story runs online within hours. Local guidance counselor built career on lies. By evening, she's been terminated. By the next morning, her husband has filed for divorce. By the weekend, she's left town entirely, her reputation in ruins and her future destroyed. But I'm still not satisfied. There's one more person who needs to face consequences for their betrayal. Marina, my daughter, the girl I raised from birth, who called me cancer and helped destroy my relationship with her mother. She's been posting videos about the drama surrounding her mom's boyfriend, playing the victim, and asking for donations to help with their legal troubles. The video I make is simple and devastating. It's a compilation of her TikToks about me, interspersed with home movies from when she was younger. Her laughing on my shoulders at the beach, me teaching her to ride a bike, her hugging me after her first day of school. The contrast is stark and heartbreaking. The loving father and daughter, destroyed by lies and manipulation. I set it to music, Johnny Cash's version of Hurt, and upload it with a simple caption. This is what betrayal looks like. The video goes viral overnight. Comments pour in from strangers around the world, expressing sympathy and outrage. Marina's follower count plummets as people realize she's not the victim she pretended to be. She calls me crying, begging me to take it down. Daddy, please, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Mom made me say those things. Did she hold a gun to your head? Did she threaten you? Or did you choose to betray your father for social media likes? I was angry, I was hurt. The divorce was hard, and the divorce was hard on all of us, Marina. But you chose your side. You chose to believe lies instead of asking for the truth. You chose to humiliate me publicly for entertainment. I can fix this. I can make new videos explaining it's too late for that. You can't unring a bell, sweetheart. You can't take back the words that cut deepest. She sobs into the phone, begging for forgiveness, promising to do better. But trust, once broken, is almost impossible to repair. She'll have to live with the consequences of her choices, just like everyone else. The final confrontation comes 3 weeks later, at the Millbrook courthouse. Valerie has been charged with conspiracy to commit tax fraud and money laundering. Travis faces additional charges for operating an illegal business and solicitation. They both blame me, of course. Their lawyers argue that I'm a vindictive ex-husband who manufactured evidence and ruined innocent lives. The prosecution disagrees. I sit in the gallery, watching as the judge reads the charges. Valerie looks older, worn down by weeks of legal battles and media attention. Travis can barely make eye contact with anyone. When it's over, when they're led away in handcuffs to await sentencing, I feel something I haven't experienced in months: peace. Outside the courthouse, reporters shove microphones in my face. Mr. Mitchell, how do you feel about your ex-wife's conviction? Do you think justice has been served? I pause, considering my words carefully. I think everyone got exactly what they deserved. Actions have consequences, even when those consequences take time to arrive. What's next for you? I look up at the gray Ohio sky, then back at the cameras. I'm going home. I'm going to rebuild my life, brick by brick, choice by choice. And I'm going to do it better this time. The reporters follow up with more questions. But I'm already walking away. There's nothing more to say. The story is over. Back at Mom's house, I sit in the kitchen with her folder spread across the table. All the secrets, all the leverage, all the weapons I use to destroy my enemies. I gather the papers into a neat pile and carry them to the fireplace. The flames consume everything: photographs, documents, evidence of 15 years of small-town corruption and hidden sins. I watch it all burn, feeling lighter with each page that turns to ash. My phone buzzes with a text from Rick. Heard about the verdict. Drinks are on the house tonight if you want to celebrate. I type back. Thanks, but I'm done celebrating other people's misery. Time to focus on my own happiness. There's a knock at the door. I open it to find Mrs. Haynes holding a casserole dish and wearing a satisfied smile. Thought you might be hungry, she says. It's been quite a week. That it has. Thank you for everything, Mrs. Haynes. I couldn't have done this without you. She pats my arm with one weathered hand. Sometimes the good guys need a little help evening the score. Your mother would be proud. As she walks back across the street, I realize she's right. Mom would be proud. Not of the revenge, not of the destruction I've caused, but of the man I've become in the process. Stronger, smarter, more resilient than I ever thought possible. I close the door and walk to the basement, where boxes of my old life still wait to be unpacked. It's time to start over, to build something new from the ashes of what came before. But first, I pour myself a glass of bourbon and raise it in a toast to the empty room. Here's to the family that took everything but my dignity, I say aloud. Joke's on you. I never had much to begin with, but I found it in